Welcome to Simply Naturally Simi. We are trialing some keto French fries. I have decided to review the almond flour and the coconut flour recipe and tell you which one is the best. So I've got 100 grams of almond flour and I have got 10 grams of xanthan gum in one bowl. And in my other bowl, I've got 50 grams of coconut flour and 10 grams of xanthan gum. I know, fries, you think of vegetables. I am the same, but we need to try this and so that we find out for ourselves. So obviously coconut flour is highly absorbent, so my almond flour is double the amount of the coconut flour. That is to make up for the absorbency of coconut flour, because it's just going to expand once I add water to it. Right, so we concentrate on the almond flour for now. I add a pinch of salt because I like my fries salty. I used my fork just to blend together the xanthan gum and the almond flour. I then reach out for my almost boiling water, hot water, and I am needing 7 to 8 tablespoons of water. And then once I've got all that water in, I'm just going to mix that together with a fork. You can use your hands if you like. I just felt funny about touching this dough with my hands because it was a bit sticky, so I just used my fork and it worked perfectly well. I am then going to place this to the side and work on my coconut flour dough, so that will just rest. So I've got my coconut flour and my xanthan gum in this bowl. I then go ahead and add a pinch of salt, and because this is coconut flour and it usually have a sweet taste to it, I decided to add some garlic granules to it. So just about a quarter teaspoon of garlic granules, and it's just going to give it that garlicky taste. I add 7 tablespoons of water and I blend this mixture together using my trusted fork. This mixture just sucked up all that water and I felt that it was needing more, so I went ahead and grabbed my hot water and added 2 more tablespoons. So in total for the coconut mixture I used 9 tablespoons of water. So it blended well together and it was smelling nice at this stage. I loved the smell, smelling delicious. So I just placed that to the side and let it rest while I work with my almond flour mixture. I just wrap cling film around that and make it into a bowl. I didn't want to touch this mixture. It felt just too sticky for me. So once it was in a bowl shape, I then got 2 pieces of parchment paper, one to place underneath my dough and one on top. I then just manipulated the dough with my fingers, and once I was satisfied that it was in like a disc shape, I grabbed my rolling pin and I rolled this dough gently. I wanted to end up with a thickness for French fries. I don't know how many millimeters that is, but I would think it was about 0.3 millimeters. My math skills are not the best, but that's how thick it is. So once I was happy with that, I just used my knife just to try and get this into a shape that is not going to produce too much waste. So obviously French fries are straight, so I was trying to get like a rectangular shape. And once I had shaped that to my liking, I then went ahead, rolled a bit more because it had gotten too thick, and then I grabbed my knife and I started to shape my fries. So you're just going to use your knife to cut the pieces of dough into straight strips, as straight as you can. My strips were long. I found the almond flour dough was a bit fiddly to work with, but it was workable with. This dough was sturdy enough to work with, and I think if I had placed it in the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes, it would have even been better. Say while it is already in a rectangular shape, if you just place it in the fridge or freezer for a couple of minutes, I think it makes it more sturdy and ready for you to fry. So that is what I did with my almond flour dough. So I continued to cut chips or French fry strips. So we're going to move on to the coconut flour dough. So that's my coconut flour. I do the same to it as I did with the almond flour. So remember, what you do to one, do to the other. So I just placed it in cling film, and then I put it between two parchment papers, and I went ahead, rolled, and started to cut my chips. What I can say about the coconut flour dough is it rolled really well, it held together really well, and I was quite excited to work with it for the chips, for the cutting, because I felt like the almond flour did not hold together as sturdily as the coconut flour dough did. Again, I feel like if I had placed my dough in the fridge for maybe 5 minutes, then it would have been more firmer and more steadier to work with. But still, the coconut flour dough just shaped nicely. Look at that rectangular shape, it's just perfect. And the chips cut really well. It doesn't look like it in the video, but it did. I felt the other side was sticky, so I turned it over, and just had good results with just doing that. So that's my coconut flour chips all ready. We're just going to move on to the frying stage. I've put a pan on my cooker at this stage, and the oil is heating up. I am using olive oil to fry my chips. Obviously, we're on keto. We don't want any sunflower oil or such because it's inflammatory. So that's my pan with olive oil. I have got my almond flour chips, and I am just placing them in the hot oil, and just carefully placing them. Obviously, you want to watch your fries like a hawk, because they are going to fry pretty quickly. As you can see, they are puffing up, but they are holding together quite nicely. I am using my spatula so that I do not injure my French fries. So they were puffing up, and I wasn't sure at this stage, but they smelled absolutely delicious, and I was excited to finally try these. So you want to fry on each side until golden brown. So you're carefully going to get your fries out of the pan. There is no bits left in the pan, so these held together really nicely. I just added some pink Himalayan salt, and then I went ahead and fried my next batch. So I let my oil heat up a bit more, and then I place my coconut flour fries in the pan, and again they seem to hold together really well. They are not falling apart, and they are easy to handle and to just place in the pan. So they're smelling really nice. I can smell the garlicky smell, and it's quite delicious smelling. So again, use fry on each side until golden brown, and you just take out and put on a piece of paper towel just to drain any excess fat. Alright, so these are the fries. This is the almond flour one. This is what it looks like. And this is the coconut flour one, and this is what it looks like.
Mama, I'm making a video.
And that's my cue to do a voiceover. So that's the coconut flour one on the left side of the plate, and the perfect looking ones are the almond flour ones. I must say that in taste, the coconut flour ones, although they don't look so good, they tasted better than the almond flour ones. I don't know whether it's the garlic granules. The almond flour ones had the gloopy xanthan gum kind of thickener taste and texture to them. So I preferred the coconut flour ones, but both versions are good. They're good substitutes. I still struggle with engineering fries this way, but thank you so much, Heavenly Fan. Your recipe is amazing. She is the inventor of this recipe, so I thought to try it out and try both versions. So this is my coconut flour fries, which I think I preferred to the almond flour fries. I served mine with my salmon. You must check out my salmon recipe. I'll put a link in the description box below. And my husband had a fried egg with his, and so did my nephew, who loved the almond flour fries. So they are quite good. If my family who are fussy are going to eat these, anybody can. And if you can do it while you're losing weight or getting yourself healthy, go ahead. It's a win-win.